right. Get comfortable, because now that Broken Love has finally reached its final chapter, I genuinely feel the need to unpack this series without filters. Not just as a viewer or reviewer, but as someone who was emotionally dismantled by this journey. I still remember when this project was nothing more than a gamble, something I watched slowly come to life through social media campaigns and clever promotional moves. And honestly, seeing Faye Peraya evolve, not only as the magnetic, devastating actress we already knew she was, but as an independent producer through Fable Entertainment, makes me incredibly happy that I chose to support the soul behind this show from the very beginning. I truly believe Faye crafted something bold here. A dark, almost noir-inspired GL series that completely breaks away from what the Thai industry has dared to attempt before in this genre. Ever since episode 1, I kept talking about what I call the POV trap. That hypnotic directing choice where the camera stays exactly at Atom Pariya's eye level, forcing Faye to look straight into the lens instead of directly at her co-star, breaking the fourth wall and invading us completely. And yeah, it invaded me too. I'll explain why in a second. That style of directing forces you to notice every microscopic detail. The barely visible tremble of a lip, a held breath, a gaze shattered by pain. There's such a dense, focused intimacy in those shots that entire scenes end up burned into your memory forever. I already know there are moments from this series I'll never forget. Now that the full picture of Broken of Love is finally complete, there's one brutal question haunting me. How do you move on after everything Arisa did? How do you heal from that level of manipulation, omission, and emotional destruction? Back when the series first started airing, I spent a lot of time scrolling through social media to see people's first reactions to this new era. A huge part of the fandom kept questioning whether the age gap and acting experience difference between a veteran like Faye and a drama newcomer like Adam would imbalance the story. But honestly, what people were really asking was, can Adam live up to the emotional legacy fans built around Faye and Yoko? And now looking back, I think that gap was actually the secret ingredient, the key that made the entire narrative work. Adam never tried to recreate explosive chemistry or imitate the visceral dynamic Faye had in the past. Instead, she gave Lalin a softness, vulnerability, and emotional restraint that slowly turned her into the true emotional backbone of the entire show. And speaking of the writing, for me, Lalin became the embodiment of radical understanding. Despite being the younger one, she's the person who consciously chooses, over and over again, to look beyond Arisa's steel armor and understand the why behind all that darkness. Lalin uncovers the betrayals, the lies, the omissions. She realizes that the entire foundation of their relationship may have been poisoned from the start by revenge and suspicion, and that everything she believed in could have been one giant, painful illusion. And yet, she stays. She chooses to understand. She chooses to stay hopeful against all logic. And no, I don't see that as submission. To me, it feels like the terrifying strength of someone deciding that love matters more than wounded pride. Then there's Arisa. And God, my heart bleeds for her even in the moments where I wanted to grab her by the shoulders and scream at her. And trust me, there were many of those moments. Arisa spends the entire story staring at the ruins of her own life, forced to confront realities that keep shifting beneath her feet. Lalin pulling away from her, her life collapsing into chaos, the one person she trusted the most turning out to be the first to betray her, and the mother she mourned for years. When I really tried to step into Arisa's skin, the emotion that suffocated me wasn't rage or vengeance. It was exhaustion. That devastating, chronic exhaustion that comes from realizing every sacrifice, every compromise, every moral line crossed in the name of revenge was completely meaningless. She fought a holy war built on lies. And in trying to get justice, she destroyed the only pure thing she still had. That's what makes her tragedy so painful. The realization that she sacrificed love for the ghost of the past. Which is exactly why those quieter domestic scenes near the end hit me so hard. After an entire season of tension, pain, and emotional warfare, Watching these characters simply exist in the same space together, breathing, sitting in silence, sharing warmth in long, uninterrupted shots, felt like the only possible way to heal both them and us as viewers. And this layered writing even forced me to completely rethink secondary characters, especially Wei Ling. I'll admit it, at first I didn't trust her at all. But the final episodes completely changed my perspective. The symbolic directing choice to give her back the exact same hairstyle she used to have years ago honestly broke me emotionally. It visually felt like watching her travel backwards in time, returning to the one period of her life where she was genuinely loved, genuinely happy, before pain corrupted everything. It was beautiful. And heartbreaking. Meanwhile, other characters, who I won't spoil here, left me with such complicated, conflicting emotions that I'm honestly still trying to process them now. And I think that's proof that the series never wanted to give us simplistic villains or easy emotional resolutions. Broken of Love turned out to be a mature, emotionally exhausting piece of storytelling that isn't afraid to leave its audience divided, drained, and desperate for answers. And if you too were hypnotized by that final, desperate look Faye gave directly into the camera, I'll see you in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like on this video to support me and help me keep reviewing the world of GL cinema and television.